So, La Sportiva just redesigned one of their most iconic shoes, and it's too early to say for sure, but I kind of think they nailed it. What's up, guys? I'm Marcus from Ascensionism, and today we're going to be looking at my first impression of the brand new, redesigned La Sportiva TC Pros. So for those of you who don't know, this is the most recent design of the shoe that Tommy Caldwell collaborated with La Sportiva with to make, and the idea behind them is to kind of be the go-to shoe for trad and big wall climbing. And that's what they've been for the past 8 or 10 years. They've been incredibly popular with everyone, and they just released a new update. I just got them 2 days ago, and so these are my first impressions of them. Now, first, again, I do want to say this is just a first impressions video. I haven't climbed with these a lot. I'm leaving for Red Rocks in less than a week, and I'm going to have a full week of climbing. I'm going to do some trad, some sport, really put these through their paces and see what's what. But this is just kind of my overall impression from having the shoes for about 48 hours now. So first of all, what did La Sportiva change? So the biggest change to the shoe, and kind of the most important one, is they changed the rand structure. And they put the rand on a little bit differently. They changed the shape, they changed the alignment to get rid of some of the delamination issues that a lot of people had with earlier versions of the TC Pro. So obviously that helps with the durability and just the overall toughness of the shoe, which is really good if you're jamming it into cracks and everything. Additionally, they reinforced the lacing harness. You can kind of see right there, they have these little reinforcements and just there's a bit of a leather lining on it to make it more solid. The upper is now breathable, and both the upper and the laces are now made with more eco-friendly material, which is always good. Finally, obviously, and I think one of the most noticeable things is they changed the color scheme of the shoe, which we're gonna get to later. But first of all, I just wanna go over kind of my first impressions of these shoes. And the first thing is they're really comfortable. Like when I put these shoes on, maybe it's because I was also trying on some aggressive shoes at the time, but I was blown away at just how comfortable they are. They really feel good on your foot. The lacing system is really good. You can dial it in or you can loosen it up depending on what you want. And it's a really solid, really high quality shoe. And you can tell that as soon as you put it on. Now, alongside that, and kind of because they are such a trad shoe, they're very stiff. You can feel it when you pick it up. You can feel it when you hold them. This is a very stiff sole. There's a lot of rubber there. And because of that, they'll probably take a while to mold exactly to your foot, just because they're so heavily made and they're meant to be so durable that they're not one of these kind of soft climbing shoes that fits you basically like a pair of socks. That's just not what these shoes are for. Another thing about these shoes is the looks of them. And I was actually pleasantly surprised when I saw them for the first time. I was very hesitant about the green, especially in some of the pictures. It looked like almost lime greeny, but in person, I really like this color. It's like a really nice, it's not so much green, it's like a nice teal forest, I don't know, I think it's a really nice color. I think they look great. Even you can see this little band here and the lettering on the side. I was worried based on pictures it was going to be very, very limey and just almost, again, like one of these techie bouldering shoes, not kind of what you would expect from an iconic big wall shoe, but in person, especially from a distance where you're going to be viewing them, it's not that obnoxious. It's a nice forest green, you could say. I think the shoes look really good. I really like the color. Again, you can see that they have this little design on them where they actually embroidered the Dawn Wall and Freerider routes as kind of an homage to Alex and Tommy. I think that's a really nice touch. Obviously, it's not necessary, but I think it does kind of speak to the legacy of the shoe, and you can tell that La Sportiva is proud of what they've made. Like, they're really proud of this shoe, and they really wanted to make a high-quality second version of it, and I really think they've done that. So, with that said, how do they perform? Because really, that's the most important thing. That's what most people are going to be here for. Again, I have to caveat this with the fact that I've only bouldered in them for like 2 hours. That's my complete impression of their performance so far, so I can't really give a full review. With that being said, they're really, really great at what they're great at, and then they're not so great in other areas. Let me explain that a little bit more. So on edging, these shoes are incredible. Like, they are an edging machine. I was bouldering on tiny little 1 millimeter footholds like slabby V7s, and these shoes, because they're so stiff and because they're so flat, if you give them the tiniest edge to stand on, you can basically stick there forever. They are incredible at edging on small footholds and doing so comfortably. With that being said, they do take a bit of getting used to because they're not sensitive whatsoever. Like you have all this rubber along the bottom of the shoe. It's just one solid thick piece of rubber, and that means you can't really feel the footholds. So when I was on slopier holds, it took me just, not a long time, but it took me a little bit to get used to that feeling of not having that sensitivity in my foot and just having to trust that the rubber would stick because I couldn't really feel the wall. Additionally, especially right out of the box, they're just not good at smearing. Like that's not what they're for. They're not flexible enough. They're not sensitive enough to be great at smearing. So, if you're on a really compy volume-based route, these shoes are kind of going to be skittering all over the place. But again, that's not what they're designed for, so you can't really take away from them that because these aren't meant to be bouldering shoes. Surprisingly, I didn't notice a massive detriment on overhangs. I wasn't really in any caves or anything, like any full horizontal roofs, but they performed fine in overhangs. I didn't feel like it was holding me back, but they weren't giving me a benefit. But again, if you're climbing overhanging routes, these shoes probably aren't for you. What they are for, and what I'm so excited to use them for, is crack climbing. I cannot wait to foot jam with these shoes. I think it's going to be so comfortable. I'm super excited. Additionally, like I said, edging is like top of the line. Again, like people have climbed 514, almost 515 slab routes in this shoe. So they are a high performance shoe, just not maybe in kind of the style that's more popular today. But when you put them where they're comfortable, again, with the caveat that I've only used them for 2 hours, they do perform really, really well. And that's great to see. So that's everything for today, guys. Like I said, I just want to give you my quick first impressions of the La Sportiva TC Pros 2021 version. Keep your eyes open for the full review, which I will be making as soon as I get back from Red Rocks. And let me know in the comments, are you picking up a pair of the new TC Pros? Do you think they're enough of an upgrade over the old TCs to warrant it? Or maybe is this your first pair? And what do you think of the green? I'm curious as to what you guys think. That's everything. Thanks so much for watching. Yanya video dropping very soon. I will see you all next time.